Jai Shri Krishna. Dear devotees, today we are moving towards Chapter 17 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga of the Threefold Faith. In the previous chapter, that is Chapter 16, the Lord said to act in accordance with the Scriptures. So Arjuna thought that very few people truly know the Scriptures. Then what will be the result of the faith and devotion of such people? So in the first verse Arjuna asks, O Krishna, those who do not know the Scriptures but worship with faith, what kind of faith do they have? Through Arjuna's question, the Lord is about to tell us some very useful things, such as, what importance does faith have in the eyes of the Lord? How can we know what level of faith we have? How can we recognize where our faith is taking us? Lord Krishna, in verses 2 and 3, replies, Faith is the foundation of everyone's personality, as is one's faith, so is one's character. Wherever faith awakens within, life then follows that very path, like one whose faith is in wealth, whose mind values nothing but money. He remains absorbed only in earning wealth while missing the greater blessings of life. Faith is the cornerstone of human existence. Without faith, how can one's life be truly successful? Next, in verse 4, the Lord says, In a person of goodness there is peace, goodwill, and knowledge, therefore the center of his faith is the Lord himself. With desire for wealth, a person of passion places faith in the yakshas, the guardians of treasures. With intent to destroy enemies, they even invoke the demons. A person of ignorance seeks to cause suffering to others, and so they bind their loyalty to spirits. Thus, in the darkness of ignorance, they waste their whole life. Therefore, faith is not the name of a ritual, it is the outcome of the feelings of a human being. That is, as a person is, so is his faith in the object of his worship. The core emotion behind our devotion, that alone truly measures the quality of our faith. Then in verses 5 and 6, the Lord warns what must not be done in the name of faith. Those who, driven by ego and vanity, deliberately perform severe austerities against the injunctions of the Scriptures, and who, blinded by desires and attachment, torment their own body and the Lord dwelling in that body, such foolish people can only be said to act demoniacally in the name of faith. Therefore worship, vows, austerity, behind all of them the purity of faith is very necessary. And the purity of faith comes from knowledge, from discrimination, and from purity of heart. That is why it is said, for one who has a pure heart, attaining the Lord is very simple. Then in verse 7, the Lord says that just as faith is of three kinds, so also food, sacrifice, and austerity are of three kinds. Then in verses 8 to 10, the Lord speaks about the three kinds of food. The Lord says, Food of goodness gives strength and sustains life. It is tasty, nourishing, and a remedy for all disease. Milk, fruits, vegetables, and fresh light food. Such food delights the heart and awakens feelings of goodness. Food of passion is pungent, sour, bitter, and salty. It causes burning, restlessness, and increases disease. Food of ignorance is stale, foul-smelling, and rotten. It is impure, left over, and kept for many days. As is the food one chooses to eat, so slowly the mind becomes the same. Now in verses 11 to 13, Lord Krishna tells about three types of yagya or sacred offering, leaving aside desire for fruits, connecting the offerings with the Lord, accepting it as duty, and knowing all the proper rules. When the yagya is performed without desire, it is said to be done in the mode of goodness. For showing it to the world, for gaining some respect, for the sake of wealth and opulence, when yagya is performed, then that yagya is understood to be done in the mode of passion. Where there is no proper method, nor faith, nor the mantra is chanted correctly, no charity, no offering, nor observance of scriptural injunctions, such yagya is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Such a yagya is considered entirely useless. Lord Krishna makes it absolutely clear. Merely performing yagya is not enough. The intention behind it is the greatest standard. And the same applies in the following verses to austerity and charity as well. Now in verses 14 to 16, the Lord gives a very sweet explanation of physical, verbal, and mental austerity. This is the austerity we can practice while walking, moving, and doing our daily tasks. This explanation can change our very understanding of austerity. The Lord says, when there is respect for the gods, the guru and the Brahmins, when there is celibacy and honor for the wise, when the body is kept pure and clean, when there is not even a shadow of violence, then that is called austerity of the body. Through this, the soul takes its first step toward true welfare. Speech should be like a soothing ointment, not like a piercing arrow. Words should never bring pain to anyone. Speak sweetly, yet always with truth. Let your speech be beneficial, filled with the depth of love. Let it resound with the chanting of the Lord's holy names. When there is quest for knowledge, when harshness in words is gone, then know it to be the austerity of speech. When the mind is cheerful and untroubled, when the mind is silent and not stormed by thoughts, when there is humility within, what more to say of such a beautiful mind, the mind in which feelings are pure, that mind alone is enlightened, when discrimination rules the mind, that is called austerity of the mind. Thus the Lord explained the three types of austerity. These improvements in conduct and attitude at the levels of body, speech, and mind are real austerities. If we see carefully, one who masters austerity of the mind, the austerities of body and speech will follow easily. Therefore, one whose mind is pure, filled with feelings of goodwill, and who knows how to cut off negative thoughts, his mind alone is peaceful and austere. And one who has mastered the mind has, in truth, mastered all austerities. In verses 17 to 19, Krishna explains the importance of the intention behind any kind of austerity, whether it is of the body, speech, or the mind. If it is done with faith and without selfish desire, it brings results in the mode of goodness. And if austerity is performed for display, saying, "Look how severe my penance is," then it is of the mode of passion. And such passion-driven austerity gives only temporary and perishable results. When austerity is done foolishly, by torturing one's own body or by causing suffering to others, it is called austerity in the mode of ignorance. Now in verses 20 to 22, Krishna speaks about charity. He says, "The charity that is given at the right time to a worthy person without any expectation and only with the sense of duty, that is charity in the mode of goodness. But if charity is given reluctantly or with the thought, 'This will bring me fame, people will praise me,' or with the hope of receiving something in return, then that is charity in the mode of passion. And the charity that is given with disrespect to an unworthy recipient or without proper regard and sincerity, that is called charity in the mode of ignorance." So, dear devotees, Krishna is teaching us that simply doing an action is not true spiritual practice. It is the intention behind the action that is the real essence of spiritual practice. Now we move to the next part, where comes the mystery of Om Tat Sat. Now Krishna explains the meaning of these three sacred words, Om, Tat, and Sat. In verses 23 to 27, Krishna says these three words are symbols of the divine. And from the very beginning of the Vedas, they have been used for the Supreme. The first is Om. Whenever a sacrifice, charity, austerity, or any sacred act is performed, it is begun with the word Om. This shows remembrance of God at the beginning, with the feeling, "This act is not for me, it is for the Supreme." The second is Tat. It means that's supreme. When we perform sacrifice, austerity, or charity without desire for fruits, and with the understanding that all this is meant for that Supreme, then we are acting in the spirit of Tat. And the third is Sat. It means eternal truth, the Supreme Being, or an act done with sincerity, goodness, and steadiness. When yajna, charity, or austerities performed with faith, truth, and dedication, and it is offered for the sake of the Supreme, then it is called Sat. Now in the final verse 28, Krishna gives one clear teaching. Any yajna, charity, or austerity done without faith is asat, meaning useless and fruitless. So Krishna's clear message is, more important than the act itself is the intention, the devotion, and the sincerity behind it. Om Tat Sat. These three words remind us that every action should be dedicated to God, with faith and truthfulness. And thus ends Chapter 17, the Yoga of the Three Divisions of Faith. Here Krishna explained the three divisions of faith, also the standards of sacrifice, charity, and austerity, and finally declared that without faith, even good deeds are fruitless. So whatever good action we do, let us offer it to Krishna. In this lies our highest welfare. Jai Shri Krishna.